So I just watched this video of a girl talking about why she doesn't understand why people consider themselves ugly. And I was like, thank you. I've thought this so many times, but I've just like never, excuse me, I just burped. I've never said it out loud because I didn't know how to like put it into words. But she explained it so perfectly because she was just like, there was something she said and I was like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. She was like, for example, she had something on her tooth and or something with her tooth, and she was like, even though this isn't like a perfect tooth, I like it because it's my tooth. And I was like, yes, exactly. Like, how can you see yourself in the mirror and think you're ugly? It's your face. Like, I don't know. I look in the mirror and I'm like, period. Like, that's me. Like, that's me, you know? And I just could relate to so much of what she was saying. I don't think it's I don't like that we're like taught to hate ourselves from such a young age, especially women, especially Black women. Like, why are we just taught to look for all the things wrong versus looking at what's right? And even people, when they say like, oh yeah, like not everyone's pretty, like not everyone's attractive, I'm like, do you specifically look at people and are like, oh, like looking for something to be wrong? I feel like that's a huge thing. I feel like most people are looking for what's wrong. And she also said this, instead of looking at the good things, instead of looking at what's right. Like, what do you mean not everyone's attractive? Why are you looking to, like, if you're just looking at someone, is your first thought, oh, they're unattractive? Like, why is that your first thought? And I feel like that is just a reflection of how you see yourself. Like me, I don't look for the bad things when I look at myself. I just look at myself and I'm like, wow, like you're really gorgeous, you're really pretty. And so when I look at other people, that's just the perspective that I'm already looking from, because I don't look for bad things in myself. So why would I look for bad things in other people? So I think that is also a big part of it, because when people are so used to looking for negatives and looking for bad things in themselves, that's how they outwardly express themselves to others. And that's how they look at others, and they're just looking for the bad things because that's what they do to themselves. They're like, they've trained themselves at that point to just look for the ugly things. And so I will say, like, I can understand why I've never viewed myself like that, because in my head, obviously I'm not like conventionally attractive. I'm not like a white woman. But I think I'm still, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I think I meet like a lot of society's beauty standards. Like, you know, I'm tall, I'm skinny. Like, that's really all you need, to be honest. Um, but growing up, those were things that I also hated about myself because I was taught. Like, there's so much about beauty that is just strictly taught. I was taught to not like being tall because none of the other girls were tall, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, how are you gonna get a boyfriend? You look like the guys. You're tall like the boys." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're right. Like, I want to be short and cute. Like, what?" And then being skinny, I was super skinny as a kid. So like, people made fun of me for that. And so those were things that I disliked about myself, until I realized, I was like, it wasn't even until I realized that those were positive things in society. It was until I realized this is me. I am skinny. I am tall. These are things that are just like a part of me. And of course they don't define me, but I like, whatever, they're me. So I'm going to love that about myself, because that's what I am. It's what I am. So I'm going to like it. So that was the switch for me. It wasn't even like, just, okay, I don't know if that makes sense, but I just started loving those things because I loved myself. And I was like, it wasn't even that I loved myself. It was just that, like, I'm going to be with myself for the rest of my life. I might as well start to like it. So I was just like, you know what? You're tall and you're skinny. So what? So what? You know? And I think a lot of people just need to get to that point of like, yeah, you're this, you're that. Why is it a bad thing? And so, like I was saying before, it started as like okay, like, let me just accept this because this is what I am. And then once you learn to accept those things about yourself, you actually do start to like it, because you're like, wait, being tall is great. There's literally no downsides. I'm so confused. being skinny is cool because I'm skinny. Like, whatever, it's cool, you know? You guys are gonna stop hating on skinny girls. And obviously, skinny girl, like, anyways. So yeah, it's just a perspective switch. It's just like a flip, and it's realizing that you are who you are. And you're gorgeous because you say you are, not because of what Jimmy John says, not because of what TikTok says, not because of what whatever says. If you're gorgeous because you believe it, how can anybody tell you differently? Honestly, like, seriously, think about it. If somebody came up to me right now and told me that I was ugly, like, that's how I would react. I would literally just like laugh in their face because no, I'm not ugly. Sure, I'm ugly to somebody, but that doesn't mean I'm ugly. I'm ugly to you. I could call Beyonce ugly right now. That doesn't make it a fact. What? I can call so many people ugly. That doesn't make it true. And what defines it as true? I don't know. But in my head, there are things that are facts, and me being beautiful is one of them. So I think you just have to switch. I think people need to just switch that mindset of looking for the bad things versus looking at what's good, and just defining things as facts. I'm gorgeous and that's a fact. You're gorgeous and that's a fact. Who's gonna check me? Who's gonna fact check that? What textbook can you check that says I'm ugly? No, none. Okay, so it's a fact. Like like, you know? And I feel like that's another thing about being attractive is nobody really cares about how you look versus how you present yourself. Because if I were to leave my house with 2 different shoes on, ripped shirt, ripped everything, the fact of me being beautiful will be a little tainted by everything else because I'm putting no effort into my look and I'm just looking raggedy, you know? But if I, leave the house, I make sure everything's looking right, everything's okay, looking good, then who can deny the fact, you know? If you present yourself in a way that's like, I'm here, I'm attractive, I'm confident, who can check you? Who gonna check me, boo? Okay? For real. And I don't even know if that made sense, but I think it did. And I really, shout out to that girl who posted that video because it was so like, we're here, girl, we're here. Why would you ever call yourself ugly? It's you. You're gonna be with you for the rest of your life. You have to love yourself, please. And even if you don't love yourself, like, just start with baby things. Like, just find like 3 things that you like about yourself physically, and then because this conversation is about the physical, obviously we need to like ourselves internally too. But just because this conversation is about the physical, just start with 3 things physically that you like about yourself, and then it's just gonna spread. You're just gonna see it spread. Because sure, I have insecurities. I'm not gonna act like I don't, but those are not at the forefront of my mind when I'm thinking about myself or when I'm looking in the mirror. Because I'm not gonna let the insecurities rule over me. I'm still gorgeous and I'm still obviously more than that. And all to say, let's just end this video here. All to say that we are all much more whoa. We are all much more than our appearance. We're all much more than what we look like, and what people think of us. But it's important. I think it's important to like what you see in the mirror. And I think it's important to be attracted to yourself and to think that you're gorgeous because you are. Okay, bye.